Hey, it's Matt Pinfield coming to you from the new and approved set. And I'm really excited about our guest that we have here today. Now, she's been on TikTok and become quite an incredible sensation. We discovered her there, and then we invited her to do some things right here at KLOS. Now, she's been in amazing guitar competitions and placed really well. She does so many different things. She's a classically trained pianist, and she can also play the guitar like nobody else. I'm so excited to have her here. We struck up a great relationship with her father, and now she's a big part of what's going on here at KLOS with something we call Jasmine Jams. So I want to welcome right now the one and only Jasmine Star. Jasmine, it's good to see you here.
It's so awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Matt.
You know, I got to tell you that when I discovered your first one that I actually saw, I think was the Metallica one when you were playing that. And I love that you'd mentioned Kirk Hammett and you were talking about, and then you just ripped that lead, and I thought it was so great. So then I dug deeper, you know, and I'd heard about you from Keith and everybody here, and they said to me, you really got to check her out. And I'm blown away by it. And I just want to talk to you about that. Now, you obviously got great support from your family, and that's a really important part of it, isn't it? Because tell me how you started knowing that being a musician was what you wanted to do. I mean, the first thing you did was train on the piano, correct?
Yes. So it sounds really cliche when I say it, but it's true. I've just always wanted to do music. My older brother, he's 5 years older than me, and he's been playing classical violin since he was 2 years old. Wow. So by the time that I was born, my brother had already been playing violin for 3 years, and so I always heard music. And by the time I was like 2 or 3, I'm like, I want to do that. So I started actually on violin for like a month, was like, nah, I want to do my own thing. Got into piano, and I've just been playing music constantly as much as I possibly can ever since.
That's amazing. And you're classically trained. So at first, were you just playing by ear and just experimenting with the piano? Or when did you start taking lessons, your first lesson?
I'm very lucky because my parents are so supportive of me. And so when I said, I want to play piano, and I was 3. So like my parents are so rad for being, okay, let's play piano. They put me in like, I guess you could call them like mommy and me classes kind.
Yeah.
In piano, and I started with that and I loved it. And then I was taking full-on lessons by the time I was like 4 years old.
Wow, that's incredible. Do you remember the first song that was a pop song or a rock song that you were able to play on the piano? What was the first thing that you learned?
On piano, so like for pop or rock?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Because there's so many?
There's a lot, but I was raised on classical and jazz until I was about 7 or 8 years old. Right. So I wasn't really exposed to a lot of it. And then I remember actually my mom, when I was about 9, we were on our way to pick up my brother from school, and I remember her turning on KLOS. I'm not even joking. Like, this is actually what happened. It just happens to work for this right now. Yeah. She turned on KLOS, and I think Def Leppard or something was playing, and I was like, what is this? I like this. Yeah. Keep playing this. And then I started listening to KLOS when I was like 9, and that honestly really helped me get into rock music, and I've been in pop and rock and keeping up with classical ever since.
It's amazing to me. I mean, because there's so many core artists and people that we love and play at KLOS that you've learned to master these leads. Everything from doing Eruption by Eddie Van Halen to Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. I mean, there's so many different tracks you've done. Talk to me about, I love there's a video up there of Scorpions checking you out doing their song. How did that come about?
Okay, so first and foremost, that was so much fun. I had so much fun with that. So I got invited to surprise the Scorpions for Front Row Live with KLOS and the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and I was so honored to do it and so happy to do it. And so I practiced it up. I had played the solo from Rock You Like a Hurricane before. I had done it a couple years ago, but I hadn't played it in a while, so I brushed up on it and got it working. I had to figure out Zoom. That was a little bit of a challenge. Yeah. And how to get decent sound on there and try not to get too much lag, but that was just so much fun. I'm so happy and lucky to have been able to do that.
Yeah, is that nerve-wracking sometimes when you know it's an artist that you really admire, or do you just go for it? Like, you're just like, I can do this.
I tell myself that I just go for it.
Yeah.
In reality, I always know when there's like a performance that I'm very excited for, because I will start to literally, it's like I can feel adrenaline just like spiking through my hand. I'm not even joking. Like, I'll feel that on a car ride to like a big gig or something. And I'm stoked because I know that means it's almost go time. And performing live is probably my favorite thing to do in the world. It's the best feeling ever, in my opinion. And so I've missed that, obviously, with everything that's going on. But it was so awesome to get to kind of capture that online and get to, I mean, Scorpions are such legends. That was so much fun and such an honor. That was just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm sure they were so excited about it. I know they were, which is really cool. So I think it's great. You're going to do a song for us on the piano as well, right? So talk to me about that and what you're going to play. Now, I know you can do everything because I saw this great video of you doing a duet with Ed Sheeran that was brilliant. I thought it was beautiful to hear your voices together. And that really meant a lot to me, because I remember Chris Cornell from Soundgarden telling me a story about discovering these Beatles records in the basement of a neighbor who moved away. And he was a kid sneaking around in their basement. And he decided, well, they left them here. I'm just going to take them home. And what he ended up doing was, like people do today, like what you were doing with Ed Sheeran, he decided that he would create a fourth harmony with John, Paul, and George. And he said that's how he taught himself how to sing. And I thought that was incredible. And it reminds me of the way that you do and play along with and leads with the different records and the artists that you love. So it just blows me away. So what are you going to do for us on piano today?
Okay, so I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna do something a little bit different from what I usually do, because usually I go full rock, but for what I want to play on piano is a song called On Saturday Afternoons in 1964 by Ricky Lee Jones.
Oh, it's great.
And I really love that song, so yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Lee was amazing. So
Yeah.
Let's check that out. That sounds great.
Okay, let's do it.
You don't mind, and it just a great opportunity for people to showcase, to see that side of you as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, people always ask me, like, what's your favorite style? What's your favorite instrument? What's your favorite genre? And I always say I don't have a main instrument. I just love making music, no matter the instrument. It can be anything. I just love to make music. And as far as genres go, I just love music, any kind, and I can't choose between them. I just love it. Also, I love getting the opportunity, which thank you for that, to be able to play everything and to just have fun and play all different kinds of stuff.
And I think it's great that you do. I always said that there's only two kinds of music that moves you and music that doesn't. So whatever moves you and you gravitate towards it, whatever genre that is, that's the beauty of music. That's the power of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's incredible. So I'm going to invite you over to your piano. I'm really excited to hear you do this song. I know it's a favorite of my older sister. She loves this track. So
awesome. Let's do it. This is On Saturday Afternoons in 1963 by Ricky Lee Jones. The most as you'll ever go is back where you used to know. Growing ups could laugh this slow, whereas you watch the hours snow. Years may go by, years may go by, so hold on to your special friend. Here, you'll need something to keep her in. Now you stay inside this foolish grin, when any day your secrets end. Then again, years may go by. Years may go by. You saved your own special friend. This time you'll need something to hide her in, and you stay inside that foolish grin when every day your secrets end. Oh, and then again, years may go by. Years may go by. Years may go by.
Great. Thank you so much for doing that, Jasmine. That's amazing. Now, I have to ask you, are you a fan of other pianists, like people like Carole King or Joni Mitchell or even Tori Amos, you know, people that have been amazing women that are just have really incredibly strong songwriting skills as well as great players. Do you listen to so many different people when it comes to people that create popular music or jazz music with piano?
I listen to everybody. Like, I love Carole King.
Yeah.
I've always loved Carole King. It's always been on my mom's playlist has always had, like when she's in the kitchen or whatever, it's always been Carole King has always played. So I always think of my mom when I hear Carole King, and what's so awesome about that, and just goes to show you how many generations Carole King has been able to pass her music on to. When my mom listens to Carole King, she thinks of her mother that loved Carole King, and that was the music she listened to. And so my mom listens to it loving the music as well and thinking of her mom, and now I listen to it thinking of both of them. And I just think that's so rad and goes to show you that good songwriting is timeless.
It really is, you know, and that album, Tapestry, is celebrating 50 years this month. It's amazing.
It is? Oh my gosh.
50 years. That's right.
That
it's
is
amazing.
awesome.
And then you think about Carole King, and she wrote all those other hits for other people with her ex-husband, Jerry Goffin, years before that, from the early 60s on. So, boy, she has such an incredible career. But that's amazing. So I'm going to ask you to actually kind of just get your guitar ready. But in the meantime, I want to talk to you about a few more things. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was you were in this competition with Guitar World. And I know you were one of the finalists, but not winning I thought was actually a really cool thing. I think sometimes the pressure of being the number one in a competition is, you know, sometimes it puts a target on your back, but more importantly, you know, there's that kind of expectation. And I mean, look at American Idol. Other than Kelly Clarkson, who won the first season, it was really people like Chris Daughtry who were like third or fourth who went on to have a real career. But I think that it's okay to, I think it's actually really commendable. It's great that you came in, you know, in like fourth or fifth in what you did. But it's a great experience. How do you look at that experience that you had in that competition?
Well, I was just so honored to be chosen as a top 5 finalist.
Yeah.
And all the guitarists that were in there were absolutely amazing. And so watching all the finalist videos, it's like I'm cheering for all of them. It's like I want you to win, and I want you to win, and you, because they're all so talented. I'm just so happy that guitar is alive and well and thriving. And you know, if I won, I was gonna be so happy. But I was a top 5 finalist, and I'm very happy with that. I'm very proud of that, and I'm just keep on moving. And congratulations to all my fellow finalists. I think everybody is just so talented and so amazing. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Right, with that, in that echelon of people with that much talent, you know, with all of you, it was cool. It was just a fun experience, right?
It was a lot of fun.
to do that, which is great. And I think it brought more attention to you, which you deserve, and the incredible following you've been building online. I love it. And so when you got invited to do Jasmine Jams here, it was just so much fun. It's coming full circle from you listening to the radio station for the first time as a 9-year-old. I just think that story is incredible. You know, before you start the song, that you're going to surprise us and play something, which I'm really excited about, and do right now on Impromptu Jasmine Jams. But we were talking earlier, and I thought it was a great story about, you know, how supportive your family is. And just like when you've got to perform live, when you've got, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes to to get your stuff set up and then cleared up. Tell me a bit about that experience.
Okay, so you know those cooking shows where like they're running to the pantry to get the ingredients, and if there's like 4 of them on a team, they're all got their job and they're just running as fast as they can to grab whatever it is. It's that with my family. I'm very lucky. My family is so amazing. And you know, there are gigs where I'm the only one carrying like an amp and such because pretty much everyone else is singers. And so I've got all this equipment and everyone else walks in empty-handed, which is always fun. But after the performance, there's times when it's like, okay, 90 seconds on the clock, let's clear the whole stage. And so we each get a job. Something that I kind of wish that I knew going into guitar was that, oh wait, if you're going to be a guitarist, that means you have to actually be strong enough to lift up an amp, which I'm still trying to work on. But we've all got our jobs, whether it's pick up the pedal board, grab the wall, wrap up all the cables really fast, grab the amp, and as long as you can get it all, don't worry about organization, as long as you can get it all off the stage in the time allowed, then you can wrap the cables at home, you can
organize them later.
You can organize everything later. It's just like grabbing as much stuff as you can and running off the stage.
That's amazing. That's so great. You know, I mean, it makes you really, proficient too. I mean, literally, the efficiency of getting your song done and leaving and getting that stuff done is pretty amazing to me. I got to ask you, when you decide you love a song and you want to tackle that guitar part, that lead, what is the thing that you're looking for first? Are you looking for? Do you start with just playing those notes? Is it a tone that you look for? Do you start thinking in terms of, well, I need a certain pedal for this, a certain setting? What is it different every time? Tell me a bit about that process.
So when I hear a guitar solo that I absolutely fall in love with, and that happens very regularly because there's so many amazing guitarists out there, and I'll even, when I'm in the car with my mom, I'm listening to KLOS, I'll literally be like, wait, we can't leave and go to the grocery store yet. The song's almost done, and I know there's a sick guitar solo coming up. We're leaving. We're not leaving yet. Finish the song. But what I look for is after I've decided I want to cover that song, I usually kind of one of my first thoughts is what guitar am I going to use, because all the necks are a little bit different, and I usually like to try to build up muscle memory on the same guitar that I'm going to end up playing it on.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of figure out, and it's subject to change, but I kind of like to figure out, okay, what guitar am I going to play that on? And I've got like 2 guitars that I primarily play on, so it's a pretty easy choice. And then from there, I kind of just listen to it a lot, and I'm looking for really what notes they're playing, because I listen for the notes and I listen for the phrasing, because you can play the notes perfectly, but if you don't have the phrasing, it won't sound like what you want it to sound like. So I listen for both, and I just practice it. And practice for me is a lot different than I think it is for a lot of people, in the sense that I'm a really, really bad practicer. I play guitar all day, every day, love to do it. I'm constantly playing guitar. But I don't actually like practice like how you think, oh, I'm going to play this and then play this, and then I'm going to play this scale, and then I'm going to practice this technique and this technique and this technique. I kind of just play the song a bunch of times, and when there's really fast parts, I'll kind of slow it down and make sure that I can get it clean. But I just play as much guitar as I can, and if there's a specific song that I'm working on, then I just play that song as much as I possibly can. That's
great. I mean, the guitar's an extension of you, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's your expression. And, you know, some of the guys that work here are like, wow, she's amazing. It's almost effortless, which is mind-blowing to me, because nothing is effortless, but you have such a natural feel with the way that you play and the way you adapt. What was the hardest lead that you had to tackle?
Ooh, that's a good question. There are a couple that have been, and I love challenges. I'm so competitive in that sense of, if there's any doubt that I can play that thing from myself even, then I have to do it. So anytime it's like, I can't do that. That's too scary. Means automatically I have to do it, no
Yeah.
matter what. So.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites that have been a challenge, I've definitely had to work at them, but they're so much fun, and the music's so good that it's worth it. Anything Jason Becker.
Yeah.
Jason Becker's just such a legend. So talented.
Yeah.
And so I've played the guitar solo from Altitudes off
Yeah.
of his album Perpetual Burn, which it just makes me appreciate how good they are and how
Yeah.
good Jason Becker is, just so much more. And so that was a ton of fun. Tornado of Souls by Megadeth, that Marty
Yeah.
Friedman solo, that was
Yeah.
so much fun. That was my first like big Sweet Pick song. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. Those are the two that come to mind. But every song's challenging in a different way. Because some, even if it's really slow, if you don't have the phrasing, it's so exposed that if you don't have the phrasing perfect, and even just little things like vibrato on it, if you don't have the perfect amount of touch and feel onto it, then it doesn't sound right. So even the slow ones can be a challenge, but it's all fun. So it's hard for me to think of this one was super challenging because they all are in their different ways, but it never feels like work because it's just so much fun.
And you love it.
I
And you
love
love
it.
what you're doing, which is fantastic. Now you're going to do a surprise. You're going to give us a surprise right now. You're going to do an impromptu Jasmine Jams. So I want to
let's
ask
do
you,
that.
what do you feel like doing today? Because I'm very excited to find out.
Okay, so I am so excited because I thought that I haven't done, and I can't believe I haven't done it yet. I haven't done a Jimi Hendrix Jasmine Jams yet, and I've got to do a Jimi Hendrix Jasmine Jams because he's one of my heroes. I remember that was like one of the big rock albums that nowadays most people my age, I don't think we really buy a lot of albums.
Yeah.
And that was like a big deal for me because I bought the album and I listened to it front to back and I just fell in love with it from the very first song off of Are You Experienced, Purple Haze.
Yeah.
I just listened to it, and this was years ago. I had an iPod Nano.
Yeah. The little
and
one, right?
with
Yeah.
earbuds in, and I listened to it and I absolutely fell in love with it. So today I'm going to be playing some Jimi Hendrix, and the song that I'm going to be playing, I don't think it needs any introduction, so let's do it.
So here she is live here at the new and approved set with an impromptu Jasmine Jams. And she's going to do a classic right now from Jimi Hendrix. How incredible was that? Jasmine Star, so good to have her here on the new and approved set. And that great Jasmine Jams with Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child. If you want to see all the ones that she's done, you can go to our KLOS website and just look up Jasmine Jams. There are so many great songs that she's played, and we're going to invite her back really soon. I'm Matt Pinfield. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and I'm going to let Jasmine take us out.